Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Friendly Focus. I'm your host who boasts, who knows the most, but if my advice doesn't help you, you can certainly definitely roast. So, how did you guys do last week? I was 1-1, killed it in one of my leagues, and lost by like 20 in another league. So, right there in the middle, kind of like 5-5 in both leagues. So, looking to stay in it. So, what did we learn last week? So, we learned that Justin Fields is the real deal when it comes to fantasy. Maybe not translate to wins, but in fantasy, he's becoming a beast. He's doing it with his legs, and then he's finding open receivers. Tight ends are, they're either going on IR like Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, or they're just turning into blocking tight ends like George Kittle and Logan Thomas. So like, the days of like many elite tight ends are pretty much over. You only have Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce pretty much as like receiving tight ends, And the last thing we learned that is Aaron Rodgers back? Possibly, So that segues into Thursday night's game. Is going to be the Titans at the Packers. So the Titans have a pretty good defense, but I don't see why they can start Tannehill. I think they're managing just to get by, doing just the bare essentials. Defense is going to bailing them out a little bit. I wouldn't recommend starting Tannehill. Probably not Robert Woods. Derrick Henry is a no-brainer. Definitely give him the rock, but they might stack the line, to prevent him from doing anything. So I wouldn't start Tennessee defense. Wouldn't start them. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good last week. So threw 3 touchdowns. So I would say start him for sure. I think it's a good momentum swing from last week. So start him for sure. Everyone's probably swooping in to pick up Christian Watson, rookie that scored 3 touchdowns. So he's a popular pick this week. I say start him for sure. I'm not sure on all the other wide receivers. I heard that Cobb is coming back, but I'm not sure. But I probably only would trust Watson and probably Lazard. So when it comes to Tanyan, I'm not sure. And Green Bay defense, probably pass on them. So let's go into the other morning games. So speaking of the Bears, we're going to have Justin Fields. He seems like a no-brainer every week now. He seems to scramble like a young Mike Vick, getting out of those situations where he can't find his open receivers. But he has another good matchup against the Falcons this week. So definitely worth a start. Comes to Claypool and Mooney, those guys haven't found any synergy yet with Fields, but Kmet has. So I would definitely say start Kmet for sure. And when it comes to running back, looks like Herbert is out for the year, or at least on IR. So probably by the time he comes back, playoffs are probably going to start or be in the middle. Probably a little too late anyway. So Montgomery is definitely worth start for sure. And I wouldn't start the Bears defense. Oh, I forgot to mention that you should start Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon if you have them in Green Bay. So when it comes to Atlanta, it looks like Marcus Mariota is definitely worth a stream for sure. Bears defense is pretty bad. They give up a lot of points. Bears probably wouldn't have won last week against the Lions if the defense didn't give up so many points. So he's definitely worth a stream for sure. I'm not too sure on the running backs like Algier or a wide receiver like Drake London. I would probably trust Kyle Pitts. So, Mario's got to throw to somebody. And I wouldn't trust Falcons defense. So, next game is, and the Panthers at the Ravens. So, looks like Baker Mayfield got his job back, but I wouldn't start him at all. DJ Moore is probably interesting because, Mayfield's got to throw to somebody. I'm not even sure who the tight end is in for Carolina. But if you have someone else better, then I would definitely say start them over Hubbard and Foreman. It's going to be a really tough task against Baltimore. And I wouldn't recommend starting Baltimore defense. So Lamar Jackson, he's a no-brainer. He's to start every single week. I think Dumervay is the starter for right now. He's probably worth starting for sure. Mark Andrews, if he's going to be playing for sure. If not, Isaiah likely going to be back in there, but it looks like Andrews is coming back. Kenyon Drake, he looks like he's the starter for now until J.K. Dobbins back, so he's definitely worth a start. And Baltimore defense probably worth a start for sure this week. So Browns at the Bills. So I think that Deshaun Watson has at least one more week until his suspension is over. But excuse me. Jacoby Brissett's doing like enough, but not, he's doing okay, but I don't think I've ever really recommended him to start at all. Amari Cooper is like his favorite target for sure. Njoku, if he's playing, Chubb is a no-brainer every week. Hunt has seemed kind of disappeared off the radar, so I would tread lightly when it comes to him. So it looks like they might be playing from behind in this one, so be very careful with that. And the Browns defense, I wouldn't recommend starting them. When it comes to the Bills, I'm pretty sure they're pretty pissed off from losing last week, so they're looking to take it out on the Browns. Look for Josh Allen to look for his favorite target. Stephon Diggs this week for sure. Singletary looks like he's definitely getting more looks and running the ball really well, so he for sure. Dawson Knox is kind of there, but he's kind of converted into one of those like blocking tight ends as well, or just kind of non-existent, maybe 3 to 4 catches a game, but not consistent enough to start. I wouldn't start him. When it comes to McKenzie and the other wide receivers, I wouldn't recommend them at all. Diggs is the only guy I would trust, and Bills defense is definitely worth a start this week. So next game is going to be the Commanders led by Chris Heineke. I think since I mentioned in one of the last episodes that Heineke is better than Wentz, and I've been pretty much proven right. So he had real good chemistry with him last year, even though it doesn't really translate well, but he seems to know the offense a lot better than Wentz. So this week they are playing against, the Texans, sorry. So Heineke, I think he's a good game manager, but very risky in starting this week. He did enough last week for the Commanders to win. The defense did help out the running game, and he did find the receivers at the perfect time. So I'd say very risky, like if you don't have anybody else, but start with caution. So McLaren seems to be his favorite target, so I would definitely fire McLaren for sure. When it comes to Curtis Samuel, I'm not 100% on that one, but he does get looks. Like I said earlier, Logan Thomas has just turned into a blocking tight end. He hasn't even really caught anything back or really done anything since he's earned that contract. And when it comes to the running backs, we have Gibson and Robinson. So I'd say trust Robinson more. He's been a popular pickup, and he's been getting more yards and touchdowns. So when it comes to Washington defense, definitely worth the stream this week. They're at Houston. Houston likes to give points to other teams when it comes to like defense and letting other offensive players score a lot of points. So like I mentioned in the past couple of weeks, Houston, man, they are bad. Dave Smills, no. Brandon Cooks lost his honorary captain's badge, so no. Damian Pierce, no. OJ Howard, no. Just no on everybody. Houston defense, Kai Fairbairn, just no one on Houston. So if you have anybody in Houston, I would suggest starting them at all. So next game is going to be the Eagles at the Colts. So this one should be a pretty interesting game. Eagles are probably pretty pissed off that they lost to the Commanders last week, so they're probably going to take it out on the Colts. So hopefully they rebound and play a little bit better. I would definitely say start Hurts. If he doesn't get any points and through the air, he's going to get it on the ground, so definitely start A.J. Brown. I think Devontae Smith finally scored a touchdown after being kind of dormant for a couple of weeks. You have Gainwell and Sanders. They're definitely worth a start for sure. And when it comes to the Eagles defense, I think they're going to regroup and really get to Matt Ryan. Speaking of Matt Ryan, he took over the starting job, did pretty well against the Raiders last week. But I don't see him doing that this week against Philly. Even though they're at home, he might make it a little bit competitive more than Ellinger, but not this week. So I wouldn't say start Ryan or Pittman or Pierce or any of the or Campbell, any of those wide receivers, it's going to be kind of tough. Their cornerbacks for the Eagles are really good, so I wouldn't say start. The only person I probably would say start is Jonathan Taylor, because I'm sure a lot of you guys out there probably have him as your first pick. It'd be kind of hard to bench him unless you have a better matchup. When it comes to tight ends, Cox, possibly. It seems that Ryan looks for those guys when he's in trouble. So definitely worth a stream for sure if you have him. And Colts defense, no, I wouldn't start them. So, all right, let's jump into the afternoon games. So the Jets are coming off their bye. They're going to be at New England. I think Zach Wilson does enough as a game manager, probably not to warrant starts it. I mean, last time they played against New England, he threw 3 interceptions, but might be different this time. So I'm a little skeptical on starting him until you see something better. It comes to the receivers like Davis and company. It just seems kind of inconsistent. I would probably roll with James Robinson and Michael Carter for sure. Conklin, probably not in this game. Need to see more consistency from him in order to start him. And the Jets defense, definitely with the stream this week. It's either Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi this week. So look for the Jets defense is actually pretty underrated, led by Sauce Gardner out there in the secondary. So definitely with the stream this week. So when it comes to the Patriots, comes to the quarterback, probably not the best to use for this week at all. I think Mac Jones is starter, so he's been kind of like, really meh, so Devontae Parker, as Aguilar, all those guys, wouldn't really suggest. I think that the Jets defense is really going to get to them. Hunter Henry, and the other tight end, I forgot them, but I wouldn't really start them either. The only guy I would trust is Ramondre Stevenson and possibly Damian Harris if he plays. And look for the New England defense to play pretty well this week. So it might be a mid to low scoring game. The defenses might be just keeping it low scoring. So next game is going to be the Rams at the Saints. Looks like Stafford is coming back from his concussion. He's lost Cup for about 4 weeks, so you got to rely on Allen Robinson and Van Cooper and I like saying this guy's name, Skoranek. I can't remember his first name, sorry. But looks like Stafford has been too inconsistent this year, so I would not say start him, but I would say start the wide receivers because he's got to throw to somebody. Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers back in the backfield. I wouldn't trust them. I think they're going to fall behind pretty quickly. The Saints play pretty well at home. They got a good run defense, so Higbee's got some potential here because he becomes Stafford's favorite target if he can't find any wide receivers. So I'd recommend the wide receivers and tight end, probably not necessarily the running backs. So, and Rams defense is a shell of their former selves. I wouldn't suggest starting them at all. When it comes to the Saints, we don't know if it's going to be Dalton or Winston, but I wouldn't say this is too inconsistent. Dalton has been okay, always coming from behind or throwing crucial picks when it comes to crunch time. I wouldn't start him. Olave for sure. He's got to throw it to somebody. Kamara, no brainer. You got to start him for sure. Gus Johnson has been a pretty reliable receiver for Andy Dalton right now. So he's a good tight end streamer to pick up this week for sure. And when it comes to the Saints defense, I think Matt Ryan does pretty badly on the road, so maybe possibly a streamer this week if you can pick him up. I think they're going to get to him real quick. Didn't have Cup. Offense seems kind of disarray, so definitely worth a start this week. So next game is going to be really good. So it's going to be the Cowboys at the Vikings. So I would say to start Dak if you would for sure. Minnesota's defense has been playing a little bit better, but I think Dak is too talented to not start. So CeeDee Lamb is probably the only wide receiver I would start over Noel Brown and Mike Gallup. He's been the most consistent. Dalton Schultz actually made an appearance, scored a touchdown last week in the loss to Green Bay, so he's definitely worth a start for sure. When it comes to the duo of Tony Pollard and then Ezekiel Elliott. I probably think leaning more toward Pollard. They're trying to ease Zeke back in slowly or limit his reps. So Pollard would probably be the more lock to start for sure. And Dallas's defense is actually usually pretty good in these kind of situations. You start for sure, but Minnesota is actually playing a lot better. They took it to the Bills last week in a really probably the game of the year, pretty good game. So I'd say keep them on your bench if you can for this week. They gave up a lot of points to Green Bay last week, and they have another tough test this week in Minnesota. So Kirk Cousins did enough last week, but I wouldn't say start. I think he threw a couple interceptions and just one touchdown to Jefferson. So I would not say start him. I think he's playing a pretty good defense this week in Dallas, so he's going to be prone to probably at least turn the ball over and get sacked a couple of times. But Justin Jefferson, a no-brainer. You got to start this guy. He's a stud. Probably definitely best wide receiver in the game. Thielen's probably there to help bail him out, but if anything, not much else. Hawkinson's slowly starting to deliver. I'd say definitely worth the stream for sure. This game might turn into a shootout. Dalvin Cook and Mattison, it's turning into a two-back league, so it's to prolong the longevity of a lot of these running backs because if you have one running back, they're going to get hurt, so you definitely need a backup in order to relieve them so they don't get too banged up. But and Minnesota defense, they did okay last week, but not to warrant a start this week. So Bengals at the Steelers is going to be the next game. So Bengals are coming off their bye. Joe Burrow, I would say start for sure against the Steelers. I think that Higgins is coming back from his injury. You still have Tyler Boyd there, Hayden Hurst, Joe Mixon's a no-brainer. And Cincinnati defense is actually definitely worth the stream this week. We know that Kenny Pickett is prone to throw interceptions or turn the ball over, so I wouldn't start him for sure. Claypool has been traded already. I think that's only Pickens and Johnson really left. I would only really trust Freiermuth. If you have someone better than Najee Harris, then start him for sure. But maybe Harris in the flex. But it's tough to start any Pittsburgh guys. And when it comes to Pittsburgh defense, I wouldn't start them. The Sunday night game, it's been flexed, is going to be the Chiefs. At the Chargers. So Chiefs, Mahomes is no brainer. As a Kadarius Toney actually scored his first touchdown against who did I forget? Well, I forgot who was. I think it was the Jaguars. So last week, he's definitely worth a start for sure. I think Juju's been he's hurt after that vicious hit last week. So I'm not sure that the whole deal with Clyde's Edward-Helaire. I think Pacheco and McKinnon are popular pickups this week, so they're probably worth a flex. I think maybe Helaire has probably fallen into the doghouse, probably because of underperforming. So they're probably definitely worth a pickup and stream for sure this week. Travis Kelce, no-brainer. And I think this game's going to be kind of a shootout, so I wouldn't recommend KC defense. So Herbert supposedly is going to get Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back this week. So we're going to see how that goes. But he hasn't been playing to his true potential because his two wide receivers have been hurt. But if they are going to play, I definitely would start for sure. When it comes to starting Williams and Allen, in one of my leagues, I have no choice but to start kind of Allen because I don't really have anyone else. But kind of look for them to probably go deep. They're going to probably be close to 100%. I would say definitely start for sure. It's probably going to be a shootout. Eckler for sure. I think they're easing Isaiah Spiller into the mix, but Eckler's still the guy. I think Everett got hurt, so McKitty is the other backup tight end, but I wouldn't trust him right now. So if you have another tight end, go with another tight end. And Chargers defense, no, I won't trust them this week. So, and the Monday night game is going to be the 49ers at the Cardinals. So Garoppolo has done enough as a good game manager. He'll probably get you good 20 points. So I say in this matchup, it's a divisional game. Might be kind of tough to start him. He'll probably get you around the same. So I would say start Ayuk and Samuel for sure. Like I mentioned earlier in the intro, like Kittle has kind of been like a former shell of himself. He's got the big contract. He's been hurt and kind of delegated to maybe only a handful of catches every week. Very few touchdown opportunities. So I wouldn't start Kittle until he shows some more consistency. You have the duo of Elijah Mitchell is back, and you pair him with CMC. So they've been a pretty good duo. So it's going to be kind of hard to predict who's going to get the touchdowns. But if you have both of them, you have one of them, it's probably not too bad start because they're probably going to split the carries. And when it comes to 49er defense, I probably wouldn't start them. They're going to be on the road, so it's going to be kind of tough. So I believe Kyler Murray's coming back, and he's also getting Hollywood Brown back this week. So be kind of wary. I would just check on the status of Murray, see how he's doing. There's still Hopkins out there and Hollywood Brown, so it's going to be kind of tough to see who gets the catches. But it's probably wouldn't be a bad start for either one of them. Zach Ertz is now on IR. I don't know who his backup is, but I wouldn't recommend getting them unless they were already getting reps already, but I doubt that. Surprise move, Eno Benjamin was cut from the Cardinals and picked up by the Texans. So it's James Conner's job again. So start him with confidence. So he scored 2 touchdowns last week. And when it comes to the Arizona defense, I would say bench them. So let's take a look at the kickers for this week. So Justin Tucker had the Panthers, no brainer, right? So he's going to get his kicks, from near or far. So that's for sure. Tyler Bass against the Browns. So he scored a lot of points last week in the shootout with the Vikings. So look for him to get a lot more scoring opportunities this week against the Browns at home. Harrison Butker, the Chargers. I think this game is going to be a shootout game, or maybe just the Chiefs scoring more. So definitely look for him to get a lot more points for sure. McPherson at the Steelers. Yeah, so Cincinnati's coming back off their bye. They're going to take it out on divisional rivals, so if they're not going to get many chances to score touchdowns, they're going to kick a lot of field goals. So, Graham Gano against the Lions. Yes, the Giants are doing pretty well right now, and the Lions are probably the worst defense in the league. So, look for Gano to get a lot of opportunities. Looked like Carlson was slated to get a lot of points last week. But, it's just how lethargic that Las Vegas Raiders offense is. The defense seems to give up a lot of points, and then the offense doesn't have enough opportunities to score. So a divisional game might be kind of weary, but, I don't think there's a better kicker substitution than him right now. So Maher at the Vikings, the Cowboys are probably going to score a lot. This game's going to be a shootout as well, I believe. So look for Maher to get a lot of scoring opportunities. Nick Folk against the Jets. Yeah, he's been pretty reliable as the kicker. So I see this to be a mid to low scoring game, probably with a lot of field goals. So Folk will definitely have opportunities. Gold at the Cardinals. Same thing. It might be a mid scoring game right here. If the 49ers can't punch it in, they're just gonna rely on Gold to kick it. So and Cairo Santos at the Falcons. So the Bears have been scoring a buttload of points lately, so it gives a lot of opportunity for Cairo Santos to score. So look for it to continue this week against the Falcons. So those are my picks for this week. So hopefully they help you out. Hopefully that I get back on the winning streak for both my leagues. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you guys can. Thanks for fantasying to our football, but thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for nerding out to our nonsense. Good luck on your fantasy weeks this week, and I'll see you guys next week, okay? All right, see you guys.